What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the name Judge Judy? If you're like most people, it's probably her famously sharp tongue, no-nonsense attitude, and ability to end courtroom drama with a single glare. She's the toughest judge we all admire and maybe even fear a little. But what if I told you that Judge Judy's personal life is much messier than the decisions she makes in court? That includes her love life, which has been anything but organized. In this video, we'll lift the curtain on her private life to show the unexpected turns and chaos that make up Judge Judy's romantic journey. But first, who is Judge Judy? Before she became the queen of daytime TV, she was just Judith. Susan Blum was born in Brooklyn to German and Russian Jewish parents. She is tough as nails and has big goals. She grew up in a home that was equal parts love and discipline. Her father, Murray, was a dentist, and she thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. Her mother, Ethel, on the other hand, ran the household as an office manager, making sure everyone did their jobs. Judy's mix of humor and grit came from her no-frills practical attitude. Judge Judy's ambition showed early on when she graduated from James Madison High School in Brooklyn in 1961 and went to American University in Washington, D.C., where she earned a degree in government. But she didn't want to stop there. She decided to go to law school, at a time when women were not often seen in that field. By 1965, she had earned her Juris Doctorate from New York Law School and was ready to make her mark. Her first job as a corporate lawyer for a cosmetics company sounded impressive, but she quickly realized it wasn't for her. She quit after 2 years because she was bored and uninspired and wanted to focus on raising her two kids, Jimmy and Samantha, and Adam. But don't think that meant she was ready to settle down. In 1972, a friend told her about a job opening as a prosecutor in New York's family court system. She was interested, so she applied and found her true calling as a family court process tutor. Judge Judy didn't just dabble in tough cases, she took them on head-on. She was known for being tough, quick, and fearless in the courtroom because she didn't put up with anything, from child abuse to domestic violence and juvenile crime. By 1982, her work had caught the attention of New York Mayor Ed Cooch, who hired her as a criminal court judge. 4 years later, she was promoted to supervising judge of Manhattan's family court, where she stayed until she retired. She was known for her fiery, no-holds-barred style. Soon, word of her fearless attitude spread outside of the courthouse. In 1993, the Los Angeles Times wrote a glowing profile of Judge Judy, calling her a woman on a mission to fix the court system. This led to a 60-minute segment, which made Judy a star instead of just a judge. By 1996, she had retired. After hearing more than 20,000 cases and writing her first book, Don't Pee on My Leg and Tell Me It's Raining, she retired, but it didn't last long. Soon after, she started her Animus TV show, which made her an icon of American television. In 1995, something amazing happened in the history of television. Judge Judy Shining was given the gavel in a brand new courtroom reality series. The idea was simple but revolutionary: real cases with real rulings. The show started on September 16, 1996, with the simple name Judge Judy. No one knew at the time that this show would become a cultural phenomenon that millions of viewers couldn't get enough of from the very first episode. Judge Judy's quick wit and strict decisions made her a favorite among viewers. Her fiery personality made her stand out, but she wasn't ruling the courtroom by herself. Standing next to her was Petrie Bird, who viewers affectionately called Bird. Their partnership wasn't just for show, it had real roots. Years before Judge Judy, Bird had been her bailiff in Manhattan family court, where they built a relationship that felt real because it was based on reality. Along with their unbeatable chemistry on screen, they cemented their place in courtroom TV history over the course of its 25-season run. Judge Judy not only did well, it changed the rules of daytime TV. The show regularly topped the ratings, beating out daytime titans like The Oprah Winfrey Show by 2009. Not only was it the most popular courtroom show, but it was also the highest-rated show across all daytime TV in first-run syndication until its finale in 2021. What made the show so popular, though? For viewers, it was more than just entertainment. It was justice done exactly the way they wished it could be in real life. Judge Judy didn't put up with excuses or legal loopholes. In a world where real courtrooms often seem bogged down by red tape and endless delays, Judge Judy's decisions were like a breath of fresh air. They made wrongdoers shiver and audiences cheer. And let's be honest, who doesn't love seeing someone who deserves it get scolded on national TV? Judge Judy's appeal went beyond the screen. In 2013, a Reader's Digest poll showed that Americans trusted her more than the U.S. Supreme Court. That's a huge statement of how much people looked up to her. She wasn't just a TV judge, she became a cultural icon. References to her showed up in everything from The Simpsons to Saturday Night Live, and VH1 even named her one of the 200 biggest pop culture icons of all time. Her impact was also felt in Hollywood, where she earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2006. She became a trailblazer, not just a TV star, when she was inducted into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame in 2012. Awards like the Gracie Allen Tribute and the Mary Pickford Award added to her legacy. But as we'll see, the courtroom was only one part of her story. Behind that black robe lies a personal life, just as dramatic as any case she's ruled on in 1964. Year-old Judy married fellow attorney Ronald Levy, and for a moment it seemed like the start of something solid. Judy was fresh out of law school, ambitious, and ready to take on both her career and family life. They didn't waste any time settling down, and soon Judy was raising two kids, Jamie and Adam, while building their version of the American dream. But this is where things started to fall apart. Ronald, for all his success as an attorney, didn't seem to share Judy's drive for success. He saw her job as more of a hobby than a serious calling. Imagine telling someone as smart and driven as Judy that. It didn't take long for tension to rise. Judy wasn't the type of person to sit quietly in the background and let her dreams go unfulfilled. She wanted to make it big in the legal world, but Ronald's views made that impossible. She felt like she was always going against the flow at home because she didn't have any support. Judy tried to balance being a mom, a wife, and an aspiring worker, but her marriage only got worse because Ronald ignored her. She missed the partnership they used to have. Judy was very determined, so staying in a relationship that held her back wasn't an option. After 12 years of trying to make it work, Judy had had enough. She filed for divorce, putting herself and her future ahead of a life where her potential was seen as less important. It was a hard choice to leave the stability of marriage with two young children, but it was also a turning point that divorce wasn't just a choice for weak people. The end of Judy's marriage was the moment she decided to stop letting other people decide her path. It set the stage for her legendary career, her unapologetic personality, and her rise to become one of the most famous people on TV. It also marked the start of a new relationship that would change everything. After her divorce from Ronald Levy, Judy didn't waste any time getting started as a prosecutor in Manhattan's family court. Having a high-powered job and raising two kids by herself was a lot, but Judy was used to taking on big tasks and doing well. In 1976, right after her divorce, she met Jerry Shining in a bar, and that was the start of their relationship. If you remember, Jerry was a defense attorney at the time and had just finished a tough murder trial when Judy walked into the bar. She was blunt and didn't mind saying what she thought, so the two of them didn't exactly hit it off right away. Judy walked up to Jerry and told him what she thought in her usual direct way. But Judy's bold move caught Jerry's attention, and what began as a chance meeting quickly turned into a whirlwind romance. Even though they were attracted to each other, things weren't as smooth in the beginning as they might have seemed. At the time, Jerry was still legally married, even though he'd been separated from his wife for years. He suggested that they just live together instead of getting married, but Judy said no because she wasn't interested in a marriage. She made it clear that she wanted a relationship without the commitment of marriage, and after some back and forth, Jerry finally agreed. The couple got married in 1977 after Jerry's divorce was finalized. Jerry's background was just as impressive as Judy's. He was born and raised in New York City and served in the Korean War before going on to get his law degree and build a successful career as a lawyer. By the time he met Judy, Jerry was already well known in the legal world as a criminal defense attorney. But his ambition didn't end there. Over the years, he moved up in the court system, becoming a U.S. administrative law judge in 1980, and then a trial judge in the New York Supreme Court. Jerry wasn't just a brilliant lawyer, he was also an author who wrote books on. Jerry's intelligence and drive were highly regarded by Judy, and their shared drive made for a strong relationship. They both did well in their careers, but it wasn't just because they were lawyers, it was also because they pushed each other to go further, take risks, and follow their dreams. When Jerry was offered a position as the presiding judge on the People's Court, Judy encouraged him to accept it. She decided to go for it, even though she was already a TV star as Judge Judy, because she saw potential in Jerry and thought he could bring something new to the show. His short time on the People's Court was a testament to their dynamic partnership and how they always looked out for each other. But like any blended family, Judy and Jerry's had problems. With 5 kids, they had to figure out how to make it all work. They both knew that their kids' happiness came first, and Jerry made it clear that if their kids didn't get along, it wouldn't be worth continuing the relationship. Luckily, 3 of their kids became judges, and Jerry's son Gregory became a TV judge, became an attorney, and his daughter Nicole joined a private law firm. Judy's daughter Jamie stayed out of the public eye, and Jerry's son Jonathan became an ophthalmologist. Despite their success and love for each other, their strong personalities at work and the stress of their busy lives can test even the strongest relationships. Things eventually started to fall apart in Judy and Jerry Shin's once perfect marriage, which was based on shared goals and mutual admiration. Time and stress can take a toll on any relationship, and after 10 years of marriage, Judy and Jerry Shin's relationship reached its breaking point in 1990. It wasn't a fight, an affair, or any of the usual reasons: Judy's father, Murray Blum's death. The emotional weight of the loss hit her like a freight train, and she was having a hard time balancing her demanding job as a family court judge with the responsibility of keeping her family together. In that moment of weakness, Judy needed her husband Jerry more than ever, but he didn't know how to step up because he'd always been the one who needed to be taken care of and expected things to stay the same. However, Judy needed something more. She needed him to step up and support her in a way he had never done before. When Jerry couldn't figure out how to do that, Judy's anger turned into desperation, and she told him that if he couldn't do it, she would leave him. Jerry, who may have thought she was joking, laughed at the idea and told her he didn't think she'd actually do it, and the next day Judy filed for divorce. The couple's marriage was in bad shape, and there was no drama or back and forth. Judy wasn't doing this out of spite or anger. She needed time to heal, And if that meant ending the marriage, so be it. But as the days turned into weeks, something unexpected happened that tore them apart, and they realized they couldn't imagine their lives without each other. It was clear that Jerry and Judy still loved each other, even though they had temporarily lost their way. After some time apart, they found their way back to each other, and they got back together with a better understanding of each other's needs and a deeper respect for how complicated their relationship was. Their short divorce was painful, but it was also a turning point that showed that love isn't always easy. But if you're willing to weather the storm, you come out stronger on the other side. After almost a year apart, Jerry reached out to Judy, and Judy, who had just been on a bad date, was surprised at how much she welcomed his presence. She didn't think he had changed. She knew Jerry, but there was something comforting about him being there. She accepted his flaws, the ones she knew would never go away. And that's when she realized they could make things work. It wasn't about fixing what was broken, it was about moving forward with a clear sense of who they were to each other. As their relationship slowly got better, Jerry started to feel a pull that made him realize it wasn't enough to just be together. Seemingly out of the blue, he told Judy out loud that he didn't want to be with her all the time without being married to her. He wanted to make that promise again to seal the deal. Judy didn't hesitate and agreed, so they quickly got a marriage license and had a simple ceremony led by a friend who was a New York Supreme Court judge. It wasn't about big gestures or fancy ceremonies. Celebrations were about reaffirming what they both already knew: they were stronger together, flaws and all. In their professional lives, Judy and Jerry had always been there for each other. Judy had had problems with partners who didn't understand her drive, but she found in Jerry a man who was genuinely proud of her career. Her career was taking off with Judge Judy, and Jerry wasn't afraid to let her take the lead. But when his own career took off, he was ready to step up. When he got the chance to be on TV, Judy was right there with him, encouraging him to take it. He got the part as a judge on the People's Court, and while Judy was in the spotlight, Jerry never felt threatened by it because he knew she had earned it. Judy never cared much about how she looked. She thought her strength came from being smart and determined. Understand how important it is to take care of her health and appearance, especially for Jerry. They both agreed that attraction played a part in their relationship, but it was their deep respect for each other and love for each other that kept them together. Their marriage, which is now in its second act, was built on. They understood, supported, and accepted each other's flaws. They didn't try to make their love story perfect. Instead, they made one that worked for them, with all of its problems and difficulties. They had problems, but they figured out how to deal with them together, showing that love doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be real.